up. Shut up. Not you. You. Honest to God. Every single time we tape this show, she wakes up, Katie, the Zen cat, wakes up from a dead, shut up, from a dead sleep. Come up here. Come over here. Come over here.
Katie gets tons of fan mail. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know
People love Katie.
Well,
the world
you know what?
loves Katie the Zed cat.
Take her home with you. Come here. Come over here. Come over here. Come over here. All right. Can you? I don't know if you can see her, but there's.
We don't see her yet.
All right. Can you see her?
There
now?
she is.
Yeah.
The most popular cat on Comedy Centric.
That's what I deal with every friggin' show.
Welcome to Comedy Centric, your place for all things comedy. Every week, we'll discuss the legends and the people who built the business. The performers, writers, behind the scenes, and stories that you have never heard. So relax, take a load off, and join us for this episode of Comedy Centric. Now, the host of your show, nationally headlining comedian, a woman with a wicked sense of humor and a killer Jersey accent, Julia Scotti.
All right, you might notice, folks, that that is Jimmy again.
Hey, 2 weeks. I'm a star.
Not Kathy Caldwell.
I'm a star. 2 weeks in a row.
People are going to think we're in contract negotiations with her, and she's holding out.
Kathy's holding out for
more
new,
money.
Yeah.
As if we got paid for this. No, she's still sick, man. I spoke to her this morning. Actually, she sent me she FaceTimed me a picture, and honest to God, it was frightening.
Well, there's something else going around, apparently. I don't know what it is, but I've seen others discussing it. So.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's some new virus out there in the world.
How do you feel?
I feel fantastic.
Because you were pretty sick a couple of weeks. Isn't it interesting that the oldest person on this show
doesn't get sick?
Doesn't get sick. But when I do get sick, it's life-threatening. Like my heart goes south.
Well, we don't want that, so don't get sick.
No. So we've had this is what, our 30th show. You told me this was.
This is number 31. Last week was number 30.
Wow. Who would have thought?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did you think we were going to get to 31 after number 2?
I didn't even think.
Think about
number one.
Number one, we had the phone issues, or we had to do it over the phone. I mean. Then number 2, we had issues because we had someone who couldn't make the show that week. I forget, we had a guest or whatever. So we had the Matinee Relics, who were fantastic, but they came in last second, not prepared, not ready.
And we yelled them. We have to have them back. Yeah.
And you and Kathy weren't syncing on the timing and all that. But here we are, 31.
I know, and then we had the only regret I have is that. I want to do Bill Persky over again. I want to have him back on because I felt like we had the delay issues and we looked like a-holes. We couldn't, in front of my idol. But thanks a lot. Man, I've waited 60 years to see. Thanks a lot. Thank you very, very much.
Well, thanks for not firing me after that episode.
I want to say something, though. Oh, no, it's going to be too late anyway. This because we're on this show won't be out in time. What was I going to say to you?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Probably something that's not complimentary.
No. You look good. You look very British tonight.
And it's the hat.
Yeah.
Going for the whole Irish.
I'm cooking tomorrow.
What do we have?
Well, whenever I'm making my favorite escarole con fagioli. Escarole with beans. And it's a soup. It's thick. It's hearty. I put a ham hock in there.
Oh, man.
It's just, man.
Have you always, have you always loved cooking? Or is this something new over the few years?
No. I've been cooking most of my life. My sister and I were latchkey kids, so we had to grow up. We grew up cooking. We had to cook our own meals. So, and my father was a great cook. When I got to see him. And he was sober enough, but he was a good cook. But my grandmother, my nonna, in the Bronx, she was a good cook too. So we're Italian. It's part of our
what Italians do.
heritage, and I love it. So, and it's very, for me, it's very Zen-like. I get to, while I'm cooking, I get to solve a lot of problems. And so
is that what you do? You're like a superhero chef.
If I could, I don't think I could.
On with a J on the back and just kind of fly around while we're waiting for the gravy to.
No, I don't think I could have been a professional chef because then it becomes a job,
Yeah.
And I don't want cooking for me some people paint, some people make furniture. I cook. I like to cook. So I'm making a big pot of this stuff tomorrow. So you're welcome to come. But nobody cares about that. You know what they do care about?
What do they care about?
Our guest tonight.
I do too. This is a good one.
I know you do.
This is a good guest.
It is a good one. I don't know about you, but I am a huge fan of the Showtime series Shameless.
I am a huge fan. I actually started watching it well after everybody else. But I had an ex-girlfriend that was into it, and she said, you need to watch this. And I started binging it, and I think I watched 5 seasons in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, you can't stop watching it.
It was amazing.
It is an amazing show. And William H. Macy, just God bless, what an actor. So I don't know, I forget which season it was, but our guest tonight is Mary Kennedy, who played for, I think, the entire season. We'll ask her. New Fiona, when it was
nude, not nude, new.
No, not nude. Mary Kennedy is just, I met Mary. Well, I'll talk about where I met her. And I've never met her in person, but we've spoken on another podcast I was on. Well, now I gave it away. Anyway, she's with us tonight, and I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited. And so that's about it there, Jimmy.
All right.
So we're gonna go to commercial right as soon as I hear the freaking music.
That music's playing. It's been playing for like 30 seconds now.
How come I can't hear it?
You going deaf?
Well, apparently Jimmy's saying the music's playing. I have to take his word for it.
Here, listen. So listen, there it goes.
What?
Oh, now it stopped playing. It was playing. There it is.
I don't hear it.
It's at the end of the song already.
Okay, already. All right, starting over again.
Don't make me do it.
I'm going to do my plug so I can sell some albums and put some money in my pocket. And when we come back, Mary Kennedy.
All right. Woohoo.
You sent her the... Hey, listen, my album, Julie Scotti Jersey Fresh, is available everywhere now. You can download it wherever you want. Everywhere. It's really kind of funny. It's like $10. Come on, buy the damn thing, will you? And also, check out on the Dry Bar, my comedy special, Dry Bar Comedy. It's called Julia Scotti Jersey Fresh. So you can, it's my understanding that if you sign up for Dry Bar, you can see like 100,000 comics on there. But you, of course, have to watch mine. But you get a free month. I think it's still going on like that. So, again, my album, Primal Cuts, and my special on Dry Bar, Jersey Fresh. It's so simple. Come on, do it. Do it for me. Do it for your mom. I love you. Bye. Okay, we're back. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching tonight. I'm so excited. As I said, Mary Kennedy is our guest tonight. She, you may remember her from Shameless, where she played New Fiona. That was season 7. She was just fantastic in that. We'll talk to her about that. She's been in movies like Tales of a Fifth Grade Robin Hood. She's also, this is interesting. I want to talk to you. She played Jackie Stallone in movie too. So I'm not just going to list her credits. I'm going to bring her on so we can talk to her. Ladies and gentlemen, Mary Kennedy.
Hey there. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you again. Do you remember when we did the podcast with Carol?
I do. It was in the heat of the pandemic.
That's right. That's right. You make it sound so sexy. It was in the heat of the pandemic. One steamy night, we were just hanging out.
Well, I'm going through menopause, so every night is steamy. So
steamy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Breaking news. Listen, I before we even start, I saw that your ceiling collapsed. Are you everything in your bathroom?
Yeah, so I live in Los Angeles, originally from Boston. So, when everyone was like, it's going to snow, it's going to be, a blizzard, it's going to be torrential rainstorms, I sort of didn't really listen because I thought we were overreacting, but we weren't overreacting. Yeah, we did a new renovation on the back of our house, and we had water. We had so much rain. We had like 19 inches of rain that basically it went through our ceiling, through the light fixture. Oh.
Wow.
So it was fun. It was, and so now like the ceiling has had bubbles of water and the paint has peeled and we had flooding.
You got the whole thing again, or is it?
We got to do the whole thing again. Yep.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just, this has been like they're calling it the 40-year storm. And so we've never seen numbers like this since 1989. And I was driving today towards Burbank and there's snow up in the mountains right above Burbank. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
Is there not supposed to be snow in that elevation?
No,
ever?
That's 50. Yeah, it's 1,500 feet. Usually we see elevation. I feel like a weather woman. Usually we see elevation like 4,500 to 6,000, but it came down to 1,500. And even there was snow around the Hollywood sign. I mean,
really? Wow.
Yeah.
So is it cold there too? Is it?
Yeah, I mean the lows at night are like anywhere from 33 to 39. And then it got maybe up to 55 today. I mean,
it makes you kind of wonder. Maybe we're getting a handle on global warming. Maybe this is the way it's supposed to be. I mean, you guys needed the rain, though, right? I don't know what the hell do I.
Yeah, we totally needed the rain. We were in a drought. So it's fun for about a minute, but then I realized why I moved from the East Coast, and I go, no, it's supposed to be 75 and sunny right now. Well, my pool is not supposed to be green right now. It's not. It's supposed to be.
Get back to that. Yeah.
I hope so. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, aside from that, thank you for taking time away from your tragedy and coming to do that.
Yeah, please. It's my fourth bathroom. It needs to be restored. I mean, come on. I used to live in the size of a bathroom when I lived in New York, so I really need to be lucky. I'm lucky.
That's the way to make lemonade out of
exactly
shitty situation. I know I mix my metaphors, but okay. All right, I'm going to start. Let's start with your fantastic career. I mean, I'm always seeing you going up for stuff. You're always getting stuff, and I say, I love this woman, but damn it, I wish she'd stop getting things. I'm going up for stuff. I'm not getting anything.
It's social media makes it look really easy, and it's not. Julia, no, it's not.
I know that. Well, let's start with Shameless because for me, the show is one of the. It's on my top 10 greatest series of all time, for so many reasons. But you as new Fiona, was scaling. Moved it to a whole different level. It was a great season. In fact, I just watched the final episode where he takes the hot shot and he dies. I had never seen the last episode, and what a way to go out,
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit, how did that all come about?
Well, I booked ER years ago, back in like 2005. When I first kind of moved out here. I've been out here 22 years. So I moved out here in 2000, and around 2005, I booked ER. I booked a recurring role on ER as a cop. And John Levy, who is the casting director through John Wells Productions, is the same casting director for Shameless, which is also through John Wells and Bonanza Productions. And so, I kept going back to producers on shows because I booked ER. Kept going back. And then, this show came across my desk. I didn't realize it was going to be a recurring role. I didn't realize that I was part of the new family. And then I auditioned on
the whole season.
I was 6 episodes, season 7. And then I made it into the Shameless Hall of Shame. in the final season. So,
Okay.
But I auditioned on a Tuesday, booked the job on a Wednesday, and was on set on a Thursday. And I was on set for 6 weeks, 2 weeks in Chicago. So it was was a life-changing role. Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of it. It seems. I know it's probably it's a testimony to the talent on the show, but a lot of it seemed like how much of it was ad-libbed and how much of it was scripted, or is it all scripted?
It's all scripted. We had a situation when I was filming with Bill Macy, and he's incredible. To just be in his presence and watch him work it was like the grad school of acting. He wanted to make a minor change to the script. We were in Chicago, and we had to actually call the writer's room back in Los Angeles and make sure it was cool.
Okay, so it was tight. It was tightly.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so you get the script, but I mean, you've made the character your own. I mean, I know that when I audition, they don't give much in the way of direction as to what the character should be. You just pull that character to get. Oh my God, it's brilliant. Jimmy, I know he had a picture somewhere along the way, but if he has it and he can get it up there, great. But if not, we'll put it in post. What? You're all right. So you get the job on Tuesday, and you're filming on Thursday. Now you're in the plane flying to Chicago. You're putting this character together. When you got there, how much of the way you saw her, were you able to use?
Well, so this is how they do it. So I did 4 weeks in Los Angeles, and then we did all of our exteriors in Chicago, like the last 2 weeks ish. So, I knew what the character was. It's an out-of-work prostitute who works for food. They told me it was a prostitute who let herself go. And so my character analysis, which was kind of funny, is I went to college in Boston at Emerson, and our campus was right next to the combat zone, which is where all the prostitutes in Boston hung out. And so going to my classes, I would see prostitutes, hanging out at the Dunkin' Donuts. And I used them as my character study because this prostitute's in Chicago and she's not like a high call girl. And so what was interesting when I went into the audition, and this was when it was before the pandemic, so it was in person, a lot of the women that auditioned for this I've been auditioning for a lot of commercials lately. Because the people that auditioned for this job, this acting job, were dressed like high class call girls. And I was dressed like in a dirty old skirt and some boots and like a vest and like a ripped shirt. And I think that's what got me the job, because I was so just,
Yeah. Do you ever wonder? I mean, that's whenever I get sent up for stuff, it's always, crazy old lady, senile old lady, miserable old lady. And you get, it's always, it always has the words old lady next to it, whatever it is. And you get a call, a prostitute that let herself go, does it fuck with your ego? I mean, it's got to fuck with your ego just a little bit, right?
Well, I've been a character actress since, I consult with this high school. I do classes at this high school. They work with working performers. And I told them today, I said, I started working professionally at age 16 back on the East Coast. I've always been playing that off character type. I'm never the ingenue. I did one commercial where, they had all these incredible clothes for me. And I was like, is this for me? Are you sure you cast the right person? Like, they had all these great suits. I just did Welcome to Chippendales. It was in the 70s. I had a costume consultant. I got to dress in all these great 70s clothes. And I sort of second guessed, like, really? Because I get the cop role, I get the receptionist role, I get the office worker that's left herself go. See, the prostitute, So I'm used to those roles. But what's funny, Julie, is that when I was on set in Chicago, everybody's there. Like the producers are there, everyone's there. And I was in the elevator with Chris Chulak, who's one of the producers who also directed me in an episode. And I said, set today was really great. I'm so glad to be in Chicago. And he goes, who are you? I said, I'm new Fiona. And he goes, what? And I go, yeah. He goes, you don't look like new Fiona. You look like a PTA mom. I said, yeah, I am, but I'm not going to walk around as like a prostitute, but it was interesting, I guess. And they were shocked at so much I got into the character. I loved it. It was so fun.
Well, Audrey Meadows said that about how she became Alice Cramden. When she went for the initial audition, Gleason didn't hire her because she was too pretty. So she went home and she put on the Alice clothing, came back, and Gleason saw the picture and hired her on the spot. So it just says about what a great actress you really are. And you really were. I mean, God, I might have even laugh out loud at some of the stuff. Yeah, you were just fantastic. Well, so did that open up the world to you?
Yeah, it's I auditioned for stuff that I never had the opportunity to audition for. It definitely brought me up a level, but with the pandemic and how things changed in the business, I'm not back at square one. I can't say that, but I feel like the competition has gotten more fierce. Like, I'm going up for roles where there are people that have more name notoriety than me, which is great. I'm grateful for the opportunity, but I'm in the hallway. You know what I mean? Like it's, and I'm used to that also as a stand-up. Like we always are fighting for that next set. So, right. But it did open doors. Like a lot more casting directors know who I am. A lot more people are willing to take a risk on me because I was a recurring.
Well, it's funny you brought up the stand-up because I was going to make that comparison. We're always, how long have you been doing stand-up?
24 years.
24. Okay. So, we were always trying to move into that headliner slot from the day we start comedy. That's what we want to do. And over and over, whether it's comedy or acting, it's the same process. It's just moving up, to the point where you could, write your own ticket. I wanted to just backtrack a little bit because you're another one from Emerson College. God, that college has got to be like the greatest place on earth. I think of all the guests we've had here, at least 4 or 5 of them came out of Emerson. That's fantastic. It used to be Northwestern was the college for acting, right? But your school, man.
Yeah, Eddie Brill's from there, Henry Winkler, Jay Leno, Dennis Leary, Bill Burr, Jennifer Coolidge, who's like my idol. We're top production from day one. So what I love about Emerson is when I meet up with other Emersonians, we all sort of know the language, and they got us like working like in theater or in television, like the minute we stepped on campus. So, and we have that huge LA school now. Emerson College is on Sunset Boulevard. That's their LA program. A lot of people do that program the last semester of their 4 years and then start working. Kevin Bright, created this building and is one of the sort of curators of it. And we're just very lucky.
That's wonderful. It's such a rich, the amount of output from that school is just incredible. I mean, it's just some of the name. You only named some of the people. So I do want to talk to you about playing Jackie Stallone. But before you do that, I want to talk about Midlife Mood Swing. Was that the one where your mama was a singer in a band called
The Mood Swings? Yeah, my mom, she wasn't the singer. My mother was tone deaf. My mother was a piano player, but she was the head of the band, and she had 3 women in the band, and everybody in the band was going through menopause at the same time.
That is a movie in itself. Oh
it
my
is.
God.
Yeah, and it was a wedding band in Boston, North Shore of Boston, and my mom, a single mom, my parents are divorced, and she made me her manager at 16. And so it was one of the best acting jobs of my life. Like I dressed up, I looked like a 30-year-old woman. I made sure that the band got fed. I made sure that they got paid. I made sure that they got their breaks. Yeah.
Oh, what a great training that must have been. I mean, My mom was a single mom too, and all I had to do was scrub the kitchen floors.
Yeah, I had to do that too. So, but it was a great training, and it actually really helped me, Julia, when I go on the road as a comic. Like,
sure.
I'm not intimidated. Like, I make sure I get paid. Like, it's a good training. It was really good training.
So all right. So obviously you grew as a comic and as an actress pretty much at the same time, right? You hit the ground running coming out of Emerson. You were doing stand-up at that point too?
I was actually behind the scenes. I was actually a stage manager, events planner. Then I represented actors for a little bit. I was a paralegal in New York for Broadway actors. And I was so close to going to Columbia Law School, and I was going to be an entertainment attorney. And then a boyfriend of mine told me that you're really funny. You should be a stand-up. And I did my first show at Stand Up New York, and I got the bug, and then all bets were off. I said no to law school, and I became a performer.
How many times have I heard that story? I was a lawyer. I was a professor. I was a dentist. I was a psychiatrist. They all left. It's like Jesus comes down and goes, "Follow me, my children," and we just sort of walk.
Yeah, no, there and listen, the law stuff has really helped me. I can look at contracts, but I wouldn't have been happy. Like, I don't know if this happens to you, but if I don't perform for a while, I'm sad.
I go through that. I'm going through that now. It's amazing. I went 10 years without performing, but now if I go 2-3 weeks, and as happened in January, I'm like that Snickers commercial. I start to get angry and and tense. And it's amazing how much that gives us psychologically, that performing. It helps us work out all of our fears and our aggressions and whatnot. So this midlife mood swing, and you sold out audiences on the East Coast, and you're still doing it?
Yeah, I just premiered it at Solo Fest through Whitefire Theater in Los Angeles.
Okay.
I went through a big rewrite. I was inspired to do it because my mom died 7 years ago, and 2 years after she died, I put this on stage, and it was about her band. And her partner Kathy, my stepmother, said to me, she goes, "Thank you so much for doing this. You brought your mother back to life." And it was like such an incredible moment in my career. And my mom used to play piano. When I would go home and perform, my mom used to feature for me. When I would headline, she'd play piano, and the band would feature for me. So it was amazing to be able to bring that show back to the theater that my mother and I used to work in. And then I took a hiatus. It was almost too much for me. And then the pandemic hit. And then my director, Charlene Ward, who directed me in that show, she said, "I think we need to do a rewrite. We need to see where you are now." And so it is about my mom. It is about the band, but it's how did my mother's mothering help me get me to where I am today with my kids. I have 2 teenagers. I've been married almost 20 years. I'm going through menopause, and I have to do all of this without my mom, and my dad passed too. So I'm, as they say, an orphan. And so how do I navigate that? How do I navigate being a mom with these, I booked Shameless 6 months after my mother died. I shared it with my stepmom, which was amazing. But my mother, who was the performer in my life, I couldn't share it with her. And so it's a story of how do you navigate your life without your mom and get through the other side. And that's what it's about. And it's funny. It's actually really funny and poignant.
I'm sure it has to be. I mean, with you in it, how can it not be? It's probably poignant too, though, right? I mean,
yeah.
You're like one of my heroes. I'm probably 30 years older than you, but you are one of it because you managed to do all these wonderful things and be a mother too, be a mom, and stay married, and be successful in your career. You're just remarkable. So I mean,
thank you.
Good for you. Good for you.
I have a good therapist. I have a really good therapist.
Is your husband in the business?
He's a computer engineer by trade. We have produced movies together. We have a production company called Morgan Hall Media. He's really good with that sort of behind the scenes. He has absolutely no desire of being on camera or on stage. Absolutely no desire. And I think that's kind of I think that's our secret.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a perfect marriage. But yeah.
Yeah.
But tell me, all right, I'm looking at this. You're being cousins with the Kennedys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Tell me.
You want the story? Okay.
I want the story. Of course I want the story.
So when I started doing the press junkets for Shameless, what came up was my lineage with the Kennedy family. So my PR, the people I was dealing with PR, we said, we really have to track this down because you can't say you're related to the Kennedys if you're not. My father, for many years, said that we were related. And my stepmother kind of poo-pooed it going, no, I don't think so. But my father looked exactly like Ted Kennedy. So we did track it down and we figured it out, and it's JFK's grandfather and my great-great-grandfather were brothers. That's the
okay. All right. When people start giving me family trees like that, I don't understand.
So basically, we're third cousins twice removed. It's just easy for me to say we're third cousins. And I do a joke in my act where I say I'm the poor side of the Kennedy family, all of the tragedy, none of the money. So, that's us. But
great line, yeah,
it's great. It depends though, because here's the thing. In Los Angeles, they get it. On the East Coast, they get it. If I go a little bit north of LA or a little bit south of LA, they either aren't there politically or they're millennials and they have no idea who I'm talking about. So it depends. I'm
surprised Henry Louis Gates hasn't reached out to you to do.
Exactly.
That would be great.
So anywho, so that's the lineage. My father and my mother, my mom, came out of the closet at 55 as a lesbian. My mom, though, kept my father's name because she knew, in Massachusetts, it's gold, right? So she goes, your father didn't give me anything except his name, and I'm keeping it because I'm going to cash in. And so, so she did. But yeah, so we are third cousins. And it's kind of wild. And I'm hopefully going to get out to Ireland and I can become second generation. I can get my citizenship because my grandmother was from County Cork, Ireland. And so, and my grandfather was from County Cork.
I was thinking about doing that too in Italy, my second generation too. And I really would like to get it. So I am, my father rented the Ted Kennedy luncheon room at the State House in Boston for my graduation lunch. How cool.
Yeah.
Did he show up?
No. Remember, we're the poor side.
That's one of them would have reached out to you by now and just come on over. That is so cool. Wow. See, you're like this great quilt of all these different little scenes. They used to make quilts of representing generational stuff. You could have your own friggin' quilt. That's how interesting you are.
Oh, thanks.
No, it's incredible. All right. Well, I don't know. All right. Let's get back to what are we getting back? I'm looking here. All right. Let's get back to your comedy to stand up. So, were you doing stand up when you were living on the East Coast? You worked at Broadway Comedy Club. That's where you kind of.
Yeah, I started at New York. New York Comedy Club with Al Martin when he had it, and he took a chance on me because Tommy Savitt basically found me at Stand Up New York, and he brought me down to Al, and Al gave me the MC spot on Thursday nights from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. or Friday morning, let us say, and sometimes were amazing, amazing gigs, and sometimes it was frightening. But it was my first paid comedy gig. And I learned so much from emceeing. And I learned so much from Al.
Do me a favor and repeat that 6 times for all of the newbie comics that watch this show and don't want to friggin' MC. Say it again.
Being an MC, I learned everything I wanted to learn about comedy. It was the most amazing experience. And it made me the headliner I am today. And I can warm up a room like no other. So, and I got really good training in New York. Lisa Lampanelli was my coach for a while. Tim Davis really helped me out at stand-up New York. Al helped me out, Tommy. So, I learned from the best. And in New York as a baby comic, I was doing 4 sets a week. I mean, It was amazing.
That's kind of how I did it too. I'm a little bit older than you, and I started in 1980, and so there were still clubs, and I started at the Improv, and it was just all the other clubs were still in existence. Did you know they just tore down the building Catch was in? Did you see that?
Yes. Yeah.
Sad. Very, very sad. Anyway, so you went out to LA because of stand-up, or you went out to LA with the intention of acting? I mean, was it?
Well, I did a workshop. I always knew I wanted to get out to LA because I knew I wanted to. I mean, I love New York. I mean, as you noticed, I've been going back and forth to New York now that my kids are older, and I love it. I just love going back there. But I wanted to do television. I knew that was part of my story. I wanted to do it. And so I did a comedy conference through Judy Carter. She had this incredible comedy conference up in Big Bear, of all places. And, for a weekend, we got to audition for like all the networks. I mean, it was an incredible opportunity.
She's an amazing woman too. I'd like to have her on actually one of these days.
Yeah. I mean, it was a really incredible moment with a bunch of New York comics. We all went, I love New York comics because we travel in packs. I didn't feel like that happened when I came out to LA. I almost had to prove myself again, and I'm creating a community with the classes I teach through the Biz Studio of comics that we can rely on each other. So I did this showcase workshop, and there was a workshop where I auditioned for ABC, and the producer that was there from ABC came up to me and he goes, "You want to be an actress, right?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "That's my original training." He said, "Come out to LA." And I said, "Are you telling me to come out to LA?" And he's like, "I'm not promising you anything. This is my information. But I think if you want to be an actor, come out to LA." And I did. And my friend was an agent from Emerson, of course, and he wouldn't take me on. He wouldn't represent me until I moved out here. And he said, "The reason why I did that is I didn't want you to move out here thinking you were going to have it easier than anybody else." And then he signed me. And then within 2 months of being here, I booked 2 national commercials, and I got my SAG card. And I was like, and he says, and I will say this to all the new people, new actors, comics, I was very lucky. I booked back to back, and then it was crickets. So
Isn't that the way it always is? Goes. It's always like that. I went through a period like that where shit was just happening like crazy, and then okay, then the comedy guys went, "Okay, enough for now. Yeah, go sit down and let somebody."
So I was bummed about that, and then things started picking up again. But it was the confidence I needed to know that coming out to LA, I moved in with my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband. We did it together. We came cross country. And, I'm really happy that I did it. I mean, do I miss not doing, 4 to 7 sets a week back in New York? Of course, because I'm a much better comic today. But the lifestyle here was easier for me to raise kids, I think. Because we're in the suburb. I'm in Van Nuys. I'm not, by a pool in Hollywood. I'm in the suburbia, the rolling hills, as they say.
Okay. But it all worked out for you, so it's you made the right decisions all along the way. All right, so I want to make sure I say this right though. All right, so where do we all come to points in our careers where we have to sort of branch off and specialize in something. Where do you see yourself heading? Not that you can't change directions again, but at this point in your career, where do you see yourself heading?
I would like to be a series regular on a show, either a show I've created or a show that, I auditioned for and you see me as a recurring character. I would like to go. And listen, even that, I have friends who've been on series and the series will end. I mean, I think I'll always do stand-up for sure. I think I'll always tour with my one-person show. But I think what's next for me, pray to God and the world and my mother and everybody, I'd like to be a series regular on a show. I would like you to, I wouldn't mind being, I don't have to be first on the call sheet, but I'd love to be like fifth on the call sheet.
I feel the same way. We're kind of in the same boat. You get set up for character actor stuff because that's what we are.
Yeah. And I can't.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Going to set every day when I was on Shameless, going to the Warner Brothers lot. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I mean, if your life were a musical, you would be dancing down, some Main Street set in Warner Brothers and going, "Hello, everybody," as you go.
Yeah, it was amazing, and it was weird because I was recurring on Conan as a sketch actress, and then I was recurring on Shameless, and they shot right next to each other on Warner Brothers. So I could have done my episode at Shameless and walked across the street and done some sketch at Conan. I could have. It didn't happen, but it would have been neat if it did.
Well, how cool would that have been? Yeah, that's great. I didn't even know Conan had sketch repertoire company of sketch actors. I have to go.
Yeah, he did, and then he changed the format. But that was another great set. That was one of my other sort of bucket list shows. Like amazing.
It was a terrific show. I think he wound up being in the place he should have been because they gave him the freedom to do the things he did do. I felt that way about Craig Ferguson too.
Me too.
Sad to see him go because I thought where he was a perfect place for what he was. He's just brilliant. Anyway, but I'm getting off topic here. So I'm sorry. I've got some kind of allergy thing going on, and I get a little hoarse. Yeah. Anyway, so all right, so we're gonna wrap up. Anything you want to plug? We're about 2 weeks behind here. Before what do you got coming up? Say in the next 2 weeks that we could.
Let's see. What do I have coming up? Oh,
well, I don't know. It's your career.
I know it's my career. March 10th. Well, no, that's going to be two. Will this air by March 21st?
Yes, I will.
Okay, so March.
Yeah.
Okay, so March 21st, I'll be at Flappers in the Yoo-Hoo Room.
In Burbank.
And then I will be in the Yoo-Hoo Room doing 10 minutes of the comedy hits. And then you guys will have to, and you can catch me on social media, M Kennedy Comedy. I will be going on tour this summer into the fall with Midlife Mood Swing. So, keep a lookout for this show to come to a town nearby you and possibly internationally. So I'm in talks about bringing it.
About that.
Well, I'm not going to say the exact places, but one of them is famous for maple syrup, and another one is famous for the Blarney Stone.
Oh, maple syrup.
Maple syrup.
Vermont is not a foreign country.
No. It's a little bit over the border in Maine. It's you need a passport.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool beans.
So but we're looking at all around the country, and I'm excited. I'm it was interesting. Somebody said, "Oh, you're going to go on tour?" I said, "Yeah, because it did really well in LA, and now I got to do something with it." So,
are they coming to see based on what they know of you from Shameless? Are they coming just because, or are they coming because they know the show?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think on the East Coast, when I bring it back to Boston and New York, it's because they know me or they know the story, right?
Okay.
But I think internationally, we are going to have to push the narrative of Shameless, and I just did Welcome to Chippendales and Conan. All those little buzzwords help.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think that's going to be, really fun. And then, so I'm going to go on tour with that. And then I am hoping to be in New York in May. So I hope to see your beautiful face then.
I would love that. Yeah, let's get together for a coffee or something. And
I would love that.
And we'll go pick up sailors.
I love that. Fleet Week. I remember Fleet Week in New York.
Fleet Week,
yeah. My husband doesn't care as long as I'm bringing in money. So we can meet a couple sailors.
Okay, we could do that. All right, I'll take never mind. No, the sailors that I would pick up have been retired for 30 years already. So, but I want to get together. Maybe we'll meet over at Al's place and we'll just hang out.
Oh, that'd be fun.
A little bit. Yeah, let me know. Also, when you once you get your schedule for the show, for the tour, let us know and we'll plug it for you too if we can. All right?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Come back on the.
I'd love that.
Okay.
I love it. And you need to be on this. I have a new podcast, so I can talk about this. I have a new podcast called Order Up with Kelly, Carrie, myself, and Matt. And it's 3 Canadians and an American, and I'm the American. And we talk about food questions. So, Julia, I'll have to get you on that. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
So,
just give me a call. We'll set up a date. That's fine. Yeah.
So you can check that on.
I'm so happy you did this. Yeah. I'm really thank you.
I'm so happy. So so you can check out that podcast on iTunes. That's another little thing I'm doing. But
all right, and it's I'm going to write it down. Wait a minute, because nothing works in my brain anymore. Let me get a pencil here. Okay, what's it called now?
It's called Order Up.
Order Up. Okay.
Order Up, and we talk about food questions. Like our first season is a hamburger a sandwich?
That is a burning question. No, I know. Used in the old days in the 1940s, I should have been on this episode.
Yeah.
They would call it a hamburger sandwich. It was right on the menu. It'd be a hamburger sandwich. So anybody that tells you not, it doesn't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, we had some big fights over it. And so, so it's really, and it's so light and fun. And I think it's what people need now is a show talking about food, Yeah.
Well, now you're speaking my language. I had this idea for a series. We should talk about this. I want to go. I want to eat my heritage, right? And so I would start right. I would start in the island of Ischia and off the coast of Naples, and go right across central Italy to southern Italy to the other coast, the Adriatic coast, to the town of Popoli. And all along the way, I would eat the local stuff there until I got to the East Coast and met my relatives over there. That's my dream show.
I think that would be amazing.
Right?
I think that'd be awesome. Yeah. I mean, look at Stanley Tucci just did a whole thing. You can do it.
By the way, I saw Stanley Tucci's sister in an episode. I know that I don't go all over the place, but an episode of The Practice. I think her name is Mary Tucci. Way back, it was a few years. She was beautiful. She still is beautiful, but what a good-looking family they are. That's Stanley. Yeah.
Oh, I know. He makes my heart a pitter-patter. But I love that. And I would meet you in Italy too, because if we did a show about me in Ireland eating potatoes, we need a little sauce.
Here we go.
I'll bring a shepherd's pie, and you can bring yummy pasta. That would be fun.
I do love shepherd's pie, though. I do like it. It's the kidneys and all that.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
No. All right, kiddo. Well, I'll let you go.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Get the bathroom fixed. I hope no other tragedy befalls you. And,
thank you. And we'll go from there. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, honey. Take care.
Bye, honey. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.